Okay, so I'm going to share with you a story from a book called The Stories Behind the Poses, which covers the sacred Indian mythological stories behind some of the yoga poses. And the one that I've chosen is the one that every time I open this book keeps falling onto this page. So it's clearly the first one, is Saraswati and the Hamsasana pose, swan pose. So the themes of this pose are lightness, clarity, and striving. And Saraswati really represents sacred sound, or the ability to speak truth through the voice with wisdom and graciousness. So this is the story. At the beginning of time, the creator god Brahma looked out onto the primordial oceans, surveying the scene. At the end of the previous cycle of creation, all things had been dissolved into the ocean by Shiva's blissful dance of destruction. And now it was up to Brahma to initiate a new cycle. By the power of his will, time and space unfurled before him, but he could not get anything else to manifest. The scaffolding of the universe was erected, but he was at a loss as to how to proceed. Brahma took a moment to himself, turned inward, took a deep breath, and expanded his consciousness to receive what he could from the universal cosmic abyss. Every god has a role to play in the cosmic dance, but the scope of the cosmic consciousness that governs all things is mysterious, even to the god. As Brahma meditated, inspiration struck. He opened his mouth, took in another deep breath, and let out a cosmic Om sound. The sacred sound pervaded the very corners of the universe. At the end of the utterance, to his utter astonishment, a majestic, four-armed, feminine form was born out of his mouth. She was glistening, majestic, milky white, and shining like 1,000 suns. Great Goddess, exclaimed Brahma. Who are you and how did you manifest before me? I haven't even created anything yet. All I've done is uttered an Om. Lord Brahma, I am Saraswati, divine inspiration. You prayed for inspiration and you have received it. I exist beyond space and time, uncreated and undestroyed by the cycles of creation, preservation, and destruction. I am the divine cosmic white noise of the universe. I manifested before you by virtue of your divine utterance, of which I am an embodiment. I am the sacred sound which you will create in all things. She is Om. She is the sound. So the Om is the sound of the universe in harmony. Do you know that? And that's why we say, that's why we sing it. That's why we say it in yoga. Om is the sound of all things in the universe as one. Brahma was delighted to be so inspired by Saraswati and glad to be able to proceed with the unfurling of the universe. The two embraced like peas in a cosmic cosmic pod. Brahma is going to add my flair into the story, right? Brahma and Saraswati, creator and creativity. Do you see the divine masculine, the divine feminine there as well? If you've got creativity without the creator, it's a bit loose. And if you've got the creator without creativity, it's kind of useless. Where am I? Consummated as one to create the cosmos. Inspired by Saraswati, Brahma uttered mantra after sacred mantra. Om Namah Imagine it now, can't you?
I can now.
Having way too much fun here, aren't I? Having my own little party. Where am I? To create the galaxies, stars, and planets. Even more subtle mantras were spoken to create the laws that govern creation. Their divine dance resulted in the birth of everything within the universe. When creation was in order, the communion of Brahma and Saraswati culminated into the creation of the 7 seers, noble and wise, to be entrusted with all the divine knowledge for the welfare of the world. Saraswati schooled the seers about the primacy of power of sound. Sound is the most subtle and most sacred of the 5 elements. Seers, most dense is earth, of which is born your sense of smell. Less dense is water, the medium of taste. More subtle is fire, which ignites sight, and subtler still is air, which propels touch. But sound is most subtle of all, dwelling in the ether element. Don't mistake the sound you hear through the air as the totality of sound. You seers will have to use your subtle senses to hear ethereal transmissions. The seers were in awe of what Saraswati had taught them and how to tune into subtle vibrations. She guided and inspired them to channel the sacred sounds intimate to the cosmos. Day in, day out, they received sacred revelations, which they coded in Sanskrit, the language of the gods. You must memorize the sounds you hear, schooled Saraswati, for in memory alone will these sacred sounds be embodied and live through you. From memory can a verse be uttered aloud, indeed intoned. Writing will not do for the divine word. It is the residue of embodied experience that matters. The text is on the tongue. Inscribe these sacred cosmic sounds within your hearts and minds. Let them purify and nourish you, as they will for any who incant them. Thank you. The seers learned well from Saraswati and codified and preserved her wisdom in the form of Vedic revelation. They set up teacher-student lineages through which this learning, the grace of Saraswati, flows to this day. Saraswati is inspiration herself, required for deep learning and artistry alone. She is summoned by poets to serve as their muse, and by all engaged in study. She is the patron goddess of knowledge, wisdom, and the arts. Because of her connection with the sacredness of sound, she is especially connected to musical enterprise. In fact, she's most often depicted holding a musical instrument. Yeah. Saraswati represents the purity of mind required for inspiration to strike. Even on a cloudy day, the sun shines on regardless, above the clouds. And so if we can learn to align to a space beyond the clouds of our consciousness, we will find the light of inspiration, perpetually abiding. Inspiration is always there. It's just a question of receiving. And for this, the mud of our minds needs to be sufficiently pacified. Saraswati is a state of sattva, lightness and goodness. As such, the colour white is sacred to Saraswati. Saraswati's vehicle is the swan, the white, light bird that gracefully glides atop the surface of the water. Swans are fabled to have the ability to separate milk from water when they're mixed together. They know the wheat from the chaff. Saraswati represents the highly refined consciousness that is capable of such discernment. The Sanskrit word for swan is Hamsa. Due to the Saraswati's Vedic symbolism assigned to Hamsa, great souls are called Brahma-Hamsas, great swans. The honorific title tells us that they have highly refined their discernment, and they are of a very sattvic pure nature. In a sense, they're the embodiment of Saraswati. There's an even more esoteric dimension to the word Hamsa. In Indian sacred anatomy, there is a right masculine energy channel and a left. We talked about that this morning, the nadis. I saw it. I've been getting so smashed by mosquitoes lately. I have been killing them. Don't look. These channels begin at the base of the subtle spine in the root chakra and then weave up again through the heart and the other chakras. One who is fully realized is considered to have an open third eye. The masculine solar channel, the Pingala, is activated by the sacred sound hum, as in the word Hamsa. The two channels meet at the third eye center. One is hum and the other is sa. So they come together as Hamsa, as the purification of the third eye. And then one is completely illuminated in consciousness, as Saraswati herself. Remember Saraswati and all she represents while in this pose as you strive to rise above mud of life. That's your homework, is to execute the Hamsasana. You're right with that?
No
It'd be
worries.
6 months.
With props, yeah.
Yeah, with props. I was imagining myself doing it with a bolster under my feet. I reckon I can execute it then.
And